What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Tight Lines Podcast. In this week's episode, I have already accomplished one of my goals for my annual New Year's goals list that came in episode 30. And as I'm sure you can guess by the title of the episode, I caught a brand new species of fish. My first ever rainbow trout. Yes, you heard that right, rainbow trout. We are going to discuss everything I did to prepare myself to catch a trout, all the research I did, the gear I used, so hopefully, if you guys have a shot at one of these, you can also be successful in the endeavor. So before I spoil anything more, let's get into it. Welcome to the Tight Lines Podcast, your destination for anything fishing. Now here's your host, Tyler Plackey. I did it, you guys. Seriously. I added another species to the list finally. I had a pretty good list going already coming out of 2025, and one of my goals in 2026 was to add a new species. So when I heard about this about 4 or 5 days ago, I was like, you know what? Kind of got to go for it. So by the time you're listening to this, it's been a couple weeks since I've actually caught the fish. I'm actually recording this the day after I went out and went fishing. And if you want to see everything, all the stuff I did, if you want to actually see this all in video, I am posting an excellent video on my YouTube well before this podcast episode comes out. So go ahead and check that out. That's the reason you should be subbed to my YouTube. You can see all the stuff I'm doing, but actually see it in video. Plus, I've already posted a picture of the fish on my Instagram. So if you want to see the picture of the fish, head over to my Instagram as well. So I recently heard an inkling from a buddy about rainbow trout being stocked here in central Indiana. And I'm not going to spot burn, not going to say who gave me the info so you don't go hound the guy. But I had heard about rainbow trout here in central Indiana. So like any rational human being, I bought my trout stamp and started my research. Just so you guys know, rainbow trout in central Indiana is not a thing, right? There's some trout in Indiana. They're typically way up in the northern part, up near Michigan. We don't ever really see them down here. So when I heard that there was rainbow trout and I'd seen pictures of them, I said, okay, I've got to go after these fish. Got to take a shot at it. One, because it's going to be a ton of fun, and two, it helps knock off one of my goals for the year of catching a new species. Obviously, I can catch a couple more still this year if I want to, but this does knock off that goal. So the first order of business was obviously to be able to legally fish for trout. In Indiana, that means, one, you have to have a fishing license. You have to have your public, water fishing license like everyone does. It's $23. And you also have to get your additional trout stamp for $11 more. So it really costs about $34 to trout fish, which overall really isn't bad when you look at the price of everything else. Went on, just go to the DNR website, bought the stamp, boom, that's it. From there, I went ahead and I had to hit the books, or in this case, the internet. I watched trout fishing videos, especially emphasizing on those that weren't like fly fishing because, well, obviously I don't fly fish. Haven't learned to fly fish yet. Tried it one time, wasn't very good at it, didn't have a lot of fun with it. Don't really want to, fly fish for the near future. Thought about it a little bit, but just really not feeling fly fishing yet. So, but what I did is I kind of learned about, where they set up in the water systems, what they target, stuff like that. So what I kind of learned is they normally sit out in like current breaks. So they, kind of like a smallmouth fish, where they sit kind of, smallmouth bass fish. They sit out, behind trees, behind rocks, other debris, and they find a way to ambush their prey. Again, they're an ambush predator, so they strike pretty hard, and it's a ton of fun. Then I had to learn about, well, what do they actually eat? What's their natural forage? So I learned, here's a couple things. Actually, there's more, but they eat aquatic insects, hence why there's fly fishing. They eat crayfish. I'm guessing by the size of these trout, or at least the ones that are here, they probably don't, or if they do, they're very small. Small worms, so I guess I could have used worms for fishing, but I didn't. Plankton and like phytoplankton, stuff like that. And then even small fish. And obviously for me, that's what I'm going to imitate is a small fish from my lures. So I began to kind of mentally think about everything I'd learned. It's going to be out in current. I'm going to be imitating small fish. What do I need to do to catch those? And especially knowing these trout aren't going to be like the big rainbow trout you see way up north. These can be smaller rainbow trout that die pretty fast because, well, they don't really survive down here and they're just stocked in this river system. So I kind of thought, and I was like, I think I know what I'm going to get. So I went out to Walmart and bought my lures, and I decided on getting some like rooster tails. So, and I literally just bought the rooster tail. I didn't buy Meps, didn't buy the offering, just rooster tails. Bought 3 total rooster tails. Bought a 1/8 ounce white and silver one, a 1/8 ounce gold, and a 3/16 ounce green and pink with a silver blade. Combo this on my Dobbins Maverick 702 SF. That's again a 7-foot medium light fast spinning rod, 2500 Shimano Mirabelle HG, and 10-pound mono. So basically just the all-around spinning combo I use for everything else. And then before I wanted to actually go fish, because I was waiting for some warm weather, I actually went out on a pretty cold day and just kind of went down and walked the area and kind of learned what I needed to do. So again, I drove to the spot, parked, walked down the hill to the water, slept a couple times because it was real icy. Watched how the water moved, looked for cover that I could find, tried to see if I could find any bait fish. Didn't really notice too much, maybe a couple small bait fish, but mostly a ton of rock and wood cover and a decent moderate flow of water. It wasn't super fast, wasn't super slow either, just a nice steady flow. So after this, I go back and I start learning about proper handling of trout. I couldn't find much info on how I have to fight them because one of my thoughts was, when you catch bass and bluegill, you can kind of let them run, right? You can fight them for a while, let them wear out, and then take them in. And then that's how you can, you get them to be settled down, and it's really easy to unhook them and handle them because they're wore out. It's very different with a muskie, right? I've never muskie fished, but I've learned this is when you catch a muskie, it's all about getting the muskie in as quickly as possible so it doesn't overwork itself and kill itself. So I had to learn about proper handling for a trout, and there wasn't much to be said on the end of the actual catching them. It didn't really say whether I should wear them down or not. Couldn't really find that. What I did find in the actual handling portion after you brought them in is a net is recommended. However, it's not really required. If you're it's good to keep them under control because you want to kind of keep them in the water, but it's not a necessity. And this was one that at the time didn't have a net. I now have one. Bought one yesterday, but I didn't have a net yet, and the one I wanted to get at the time wasn't going to ship in time, and so I was like, I'll just go out. I may not even catch any fish. I don't know. I don't want to invest too much money into this without knowing if I even like it will catch fish there. But I did learn that, when you do actually handle a trout and touch them, do it with a wet hand. This helps to preserve their slime coat, keeps them safe. Obviously, you don't want to turn the fish upside down. Trout are decently delicate fish and have a tendency to die easily. Keep them in the water as much as possible. Just kind of be gentle. Don't go chucking them back. We catch bluegill and we kind of just toss them back in the water. Same with a bass. Small bass kind of just throw them back in. They swim off. The trout, you want to set them back in, let them swim off. Because obviously it's very important, conservation is very important with fish like this, especially, when it's a fish that's not native to the area until you kind of get, you know that you're not going to get many shots at actually catching these fish. So, again, no net, but just kind of understanding what I need to do and what I don't need to do. And it's pretty much just be gentle with the fish, right? Just take your time with it. Keep in the water. Don't be harsh on it. Just take care of the fish. So that's all the prep I put into trout fishing. And that's really all it takes. I mean, again, we're talking about a rooster tail and a 7-foot spinning combo, guys. We're not talking about, $700 worth of gear. I didn't buy any wet waders. I don't have any dry suits. I fished from the bank. So a few days later, I packed my lures into a small Plano box, got my action camera and chest strap, got my pliers and threw everything in my dry bag, one I always take when I creek stomp. And I'd watched the weather and waited until the water warmed a bit, and I knew I would be able to get out without any ice or rain or just kind of too cold of water or a day for me, honestly. I don't want to fish when it's 20 degrees out. Got my car, drove to the spot, parked across the bridge, went down the hill, and there I was. Fished the first spot for probably 15 minutes, didn't have a bite, was frustrated, was annoyed, like, man, this guy keeps telling me he keeps catching all these fish. I kind of look around, I see another bank. It's down, but I have to climb back up into the woods to get to it. Climb back up this hill, kind of slide down another hill, and it's all about the adventure and it's fun. But I end up on this next gravel bar, and this gravel bar is probably, I don't know, 350 yards long. It's a pretty nice size gravel bar. Kind of worked my way down the creek a bit, and got down to a spot. And probably about 30 minutes later, so I'm probably a good 40 minutes into this fishing now at this rate. I'm a few hundred yards down. I found this little spot. I flip out into the water and I'm reeling it in and bang. I feel it. There's weight on the end of my line and I'm like, holy crap, I got treble hooks, so I don't, not a hard hook set, just apply my pressure and reel it in and boom. There it is. I've got a trout, right? I've got a rainbow trout. I will tell you guys this. Here's what I've learned from catching rainbow trout from my first day. And I'm actually planning on going back again today when I go. but they fight very differently than a bluegill or a bass. They really fight almost like a snake. They're very long and squirmy. They're very strong. They run really hard. They dart back and forth. They don't really try and like peel your line off as much as they're trying to just thrash their way out of it. So you kind of just have to keep a good control on them. Keep a nice tight line so you don't lose your hook set. But yeah, I kind of reeled it in, got to a spot where I could sit down, and on the end of my line again, my first ever rainbow trout. And again, quick intermission. If you want to see all this on full on video, it's uploaded. I have an awesome fishing vlog. I think it comes out, or it came out like 2 Wednesdays ago. Really easy. You're gonna see a big thumbnail of me holding a rainbow trout. Click on it. It's on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so stuck my hand in the water, grabbed the fish, and there we have it. Unhooked it very slowly. Got my pliers out, took the treble hooks out very kindly, showed it to the camera real quick, took a real quick look, and then right back in the water we went. Didn't spend a ton of time with it out of the water, didn't flip it around, didn't do anything funny. Just kind of, was very gentle with this fish. And as we should be. Again, these are fish that are delicate that, really need some love and care when you catch them. But I couldn't believe that. That was my first rainbow trout. And if you watch the video, I'm giggling like a 5-year-old at a candy store. I mean, it was so much fun. It was so great. This was the first, I believe, either 8 or 9 total fish I caught that day. It was an absolute ton of fun. I love fishing for these trout, and I'm super pumped to go back. Again, I'm looking at going back today, the day of recording at least. You have to climb over down trees, rolled my ankle a little bit, slipped going up and down some hills, got mud on me, got a little wet, got a little cold. But it's fishing. It should be an adventure. It's no fun to fish without a little fun mixed in. You know what I mean? If you're not going out and getting a little dirty and, if you come back crystal clean and not smelling like anything, that ain't fishing. So since this day, I have not purchased a net. Like I said, I purchased a net yesterday, so I will have that for today because I want to better handle these fish. Should also make it easier for me to unhook them and just take care of them when they're up the bank because they do squirm a ton. They're very slimy, very slippery, and so they have a tendency to fly out of your hand. And I've continued to research lures and techniques for these fish. So obviously I can target them if they get bored of my inline spinners. So, all right, everybody, that is really this week's episode. It was a really quick episode again, but really just wanted to update you guys. I've got to add a new species to the list, teach you guys a little bit about, how I caught the fish. So if you guys are interested in rainbow trout, and fishing for them, let me know. Obviously, reach out to me if you want to go fish for them, and we might be able to work something out, set something up. But yeah, so that's this week's episode for y'all, and I hope you've enjoyed the episode. And if you have, please be sure to drop us a positive review on whatever podcast platform you tune in with. We are on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Amazon Podcasts. Also be sure to drop us a like while you're there. Drop us a comment as well. It just kind of really helps out the show. You can drop us a follow and check out my Instagram on YouTube and Instagram. It's Tyler Plackey Fishing for both of them. Same logo, really easy to find. There you can kind of see what I've been up to. DM me suggestions for the show, ask questions for the tack box, or just chat with me. Like I said, my Instagram is always the first thing to be updated if you guys want to see what's going on in the world. YouTube's probably going to be the second, followed by the podcast. The podcast I record a couple weeks ahead, so I have time to edit it and everything. So it's normally about the last place to get updated. So if you really, really, really want to know what's going on with me and what I'm doing, check out my YouTube and my Instagram. So thank you all so much for listening every week and dedicating your time to the show. I really do appreciate all of your support. We're continuing to grow at a very small amount, so please tell your friends. Would love to get some more subscribers, obviously, to the podcast, to the Instagram, to the YouTube. Trying to grow a little bit, hopefully working on some sponsorship deals soon. That should help, me and then, help with the cost of the show and also help you guys to get some deals on some cool things. So hopefully we can work that out. Just kind of working through some things, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So again, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, tight lines, y'all.